Good morning, Karen Ford. How are you?
I am wonderful. Thanks for meeting up with me this morning.
Well, it's always a privilege and pleasure, and you've had such tremendous success in your business the last number of decades since we first met way back in the early 1990s.
Yes.
And I know you're in the current book, Moving Up 2020. How are you using that book to help promote your business?
You know what? I got really excited when I found out that this was ready to be purchased. I actually have purchased this book to give to every one of my people in my organization that are working the business, trying to figure out what do I do. I have purchased these books that I'm giving actually as Christmas gifts, because one of the things that I love so much about the book, it isn't about just learning how to build on social media. It's so many stories of us who didn't even have social media when we started. So it's giving people a level playing field just to be able to take their business wherever they want. And I just want all of my people to be able to be part of this, to learn from it, to learn from the legends that have came on a long time ago and taught all of us what we know today and is really responsible for our success.
Well, one of the things that we tried to do here too, Karen, as you well know from being in the industry for 3 decades and having all the success that you've had is to kind of profile a lot of different types of stories, male, female, younger, older. We have senior citizens. I think the oldest person in the book's 82. The youngest is 21. So, everything in between, all the demographics of religion, race, etc. Really to try to get as many stories, because our business is a melting pot, in so many respects. So great. I'm so glad you're using it that way. Tell me this now, what did your kids and your grandkids think when they saw mom and grandma in a book?
They expected it. No, I'm kidding. Actually, my granddaughter asked me, she said, Nana, can I take that to my school? I said, yeah, I guess. Why? She said, because we have show and tell. I'm going to show them that my Nana was in this book. She said, now, what did they say about you? So, yes, my family's very, very proud of what I have been able to accomplish. And you know what, John? Here's the good part, the best part. I learned from you. When I first started, I didn't know how to build a network marketing company. But you made, and I'll get emotional, but because of what you did and how you reached out to me has changed my life dramatically. I never dreamed in a million years that I could make millions of dollars just from listening to you, understanding. Was I a hard nut to crack? Of course. I didn't know where to start. But when you called that day and you said, Karen, you've got the eye of a tiger. If you'll pay attention and listen to me, I can help you to be successful. Your idea of success and mine was probably somewhat different. I was raising my children as a single mom, living from paycheck to paycheck, literally earning only about $1,500 a month at my job, but was fortunate enough to listen to what you taught me and implemented what you taught me. And as a result, my life is unlike I ever dreamed it would be at that point.
Well, I remember that day. I remember where I was sitting. I remember the company we were with. And I remember, your kids were young and I remember the conversation vividly. And more than that, though, you took on the mantle of leadership. And that was something that we were looking for as a company. I was working in a corporate role at that time. And I said, hey, this lady's got, she's got all the makings of a major leader here. And, let's kind of go and see where we go from here. I remember that conversation, and it's almost 30 years ago. So we're doing something right if we can remember conversations back that long. But I remember that, and you were just amazing, and you were so teachable. and coachable. And, you know, when your people in your organization watch this, that's the thing you need to learn from Karen. Teachable, coachable, and willing to coach. Once you learned what to do, you were just willing to go and do it and share it with whoever would have the desire to learn, you know, and it's what's made you so successful, I think.
Yeah, I'll never forget the first task that you gave me was the 10 penny rule. Remember that?
I sure do.
And it's like, okay, I have a job. I have kids at home, have to get them to school, get to work on time. But you said, if you really want to change your life, you got to do it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how in the world am I ever going to be able to go out and talk to 10 people before I go to work or after work trying to get home? Because my youngest son was here by himself and cook dinner and do the things I needed to do. But the first morning, the whole journey, I remember, because it made that big of an impact in my life. But I stopped at a station that morning, and John, I'm like, okay, how do I really do this? And we had the packet of energy with that company. I went back to where the water was, got a bottle of water, went up to the counter, and as she was ringing me up, I opened it up and started pouring it in my bottle of water. Of course, she asked, what is that? I said, oh my gosh, you haven't heard of this? I said, this is what professional athletes use every single day. And I said, it gives you energy and helps with focus. She said, oh my God, I need that. I said, well, here, just take mine. And she said, oh no, that's okay. I said, no, I'd love for you to take mine. I'll go get another bottle of water. So I walked away from the counter, didn't pay for my bottle of water yet, and went back to get another bottle of water, came back up and did the same thing. I'm like, wow, I have like 5 minutes and I have to do 10 penny changes. So take it from my right side to my left. So when I opened that one up, the gentleman behind me, I will never forget this as long as I live. The gentleman behind me was delivering Snapple. I don't know if you remember that drink. And he said, excuse me. He said, I didn't mean to be listening. He said, but I'm kind of interested in that. I move all these bottles all day long. What exactly is it? I said, here, you take this one. Well, I didn't really have the money at that time. I was broke. I didn't really have the money to be giving all these things away, but I followed what you told me to do. So that morning, I walked away. Did I have all 10 done by the time I got home? No, I didn't. But I remember when I called, because I had to be accountable to you every night before I went to bed to tell you what I did, how many I talked to about the business, and how many I talked to about the product. And I still do that sometime even now, because if you journal it, you can always go back and say, well, this week was amazing. This month was amazing. What did I do this month that I didn't do the following month? But the one thing that I remember about that first day was I thought, well, I think it was 7. I'm like, I needed 3 more, but oh, well, that's all I could do. I thought I was going to get by with that, but I didn't. Because I remember when I told you that, you said, well, Karen, you made a commitment. And I'm like, wow, he's tough. I'm like, I got kids and I have a job and blah, blah, blah. And I got an attitude. And then you said, well, since you didn't get those 3 done today, just add them to tomorrow. And I'm like, wow, this guy's got some whatever. If I couldn't do 10, how the heck am I going to do 13? So I walked out the next morning knowing that I really was going to have to be accountable, and really you were going to teach me and help me. That day I did do 13. And it let me know right then, once you set your head to making a difference, if you really want to make a difference, you'll figure out how to do it. And I started that day doing my daily method of operation, doing the 10 penny rule every single week, every single day. That was my journey, the 10 penny rule that you taught. And I still teach that today and see people have success. Is it like something magical? No, it's an accountability thing that took me from broke to earning multiple millions of dollars. And just, I mean, I haven't been with the company I've been with now, but for 3.5 years. And you know what? I've already earned $1 million there. How? Because it started with learning how to follow a daily method of operation and being accountable for me. What can I do for my future? How can I make a difference? And that has been my passion since I learned from the very beginning from you. My passion is if I know that I can bless other people and give people just a little sip of hope, a sip of confidence, a sip of determination, a sip of freedom, I know that I can change lives one sip at a time. And that's what I do, one penny at a time. Because pretty much growing up in this industry as a single mom, I had to be wise. Have I always been wise? Heck no, I've made a heck of a lot of mistakes. But I took what I learned that I saw empowered me to be able to change lives, and I put it to work, and now I'm able to help other people who don't know how or who are looking for that just little bit of hope. And it's just totally changed so many people's lives. I can never thank you enough for reaching out to me that day.
Well, thank you for that, Karen. And it was amazing to watch what you did in those days. And I know, of course, what you've done since and what you're doing now, and it's phenomenal. So let me ask you another question. What's your legacy now? You've been doing this a long time, and successfully and joyfully, and you've been helping a lot of other people. But, how do you see your legacy now going down the road?
You know what? What is a legacy? I think of what do I want to be known for in this industry? Not just this industry, but overall. But this industry has actually molded me to become what I have became in many different areas of my life. And so I would like to be known most by just knowing when people talk about Karen Ford, that they say, you know what, she had the most giving heart. She blessed so many people. And one of the things that I say every day, which is just who I am, I said, you know what, the money that we earn, I want to always be known. It's not about the money. Does the money change the world around you and allow you a life that you didn't have before? Absolutely. But I look at the huge checks that come in every Friday, and boom, today's payday. And I get excited because it's a reflection of how many people's lives we've been able to touch. That's what I want to be known for. The lives I touched, not about the money that I've earned, but the lives, because the money is simply a reflection of how many lives we've been able to touch. So the bigger my paycheck gets, you know what, John? I look at it as that's more lives we've touched. That's more lives we've changed. And if we continue to bless other people, the blessings are going to come back to us. Well, that's what I always want to be known for.
It's an amazing point. And, Karen, you and I have discussed this over the years. And I know Keith and I have with others that'll hear our conversation today. But, one of the things that's so amazing about that, we think of our distributors and their lives. And, that's our world. That's our telescope, if you will, to the world. But you think about all of the manufacturing jobs and the UPS driver jobs and the corrugated box company and your raw ingredients, of your products that somebody, farmed or cultivated or grew or whatever, depending on what kind of company, one is in our industry, right? And you think about how many jobs we've helped to create, as people who just, hey, we went to work initially for ourselves and one thing led to another, and it's such an amazing thing, and you're doing amazing things, and how many jobs you've indirectly created as a result of being good at what you do. It's a phenomenal. So let's talk about the future. So what's the next decade or so look like? You know, you're on a roll right now. You're doing very, very well with your company and your income and your organization. And I know you're growing internationally and you're having fun and you're enjoying the process. And so, you know, what's the next 5, 10, 15 years going to be?
You know, hopefully my plan is to do exactly what I'm doing now, but do it with more maybe relaxed intensity. I want to travel the world. And now I feel like I am in a place where that's possible. And I don't have to think about it anymore if I could afford it or not. I could do it. But over the next decade, you know, honestly, John, it's still to bless people. To bless people, but to have, you know, more time, of course, traveling and doing fun things. But I said, I doubt that I will ever retire simply because I love what I do. I will always work. Maybe I will work at a different level. But right now, my future is absolutely amazing. And I'm going to tell you this. You didn't ask me to, but I'm going to because I love being able to live a life of debt freedom, with debt freedom. I love being able to look at what I learned from you and put it to work. And now I can say, you know what? Yes, I've earned several million. Was I always a good steward? No. As I got older, I became a better steward of my wealth. To be able to know that I've paid off investment property, to be able to buy vehicles and pay for them in 6 months. I could have paid cash, but you know, I pay for them in 6 months. To be able to give my youngest son that used to come into my office and ask questions when I was on the phone because he knew I would go like this and say, okay, sure. To know that that young child who started with me, I was able to give him a big down payment for his very first home. You know what? Yes, money is an amazing thing, but the lives we touch because of it is the most important thing. And I'm grateful for where I am. I'm grateful for where I know I'm going. And I'm more grateful for all of the lives that I've seen change. And when I wake up every morning and I get phone calls, I used to get nervous thinking, oh no. Today, I wake up and thank God every day for the phone calls that wake me up because I hear stories every day that say, I don't know where I would be if you hadn't reached out to me, just like you did to me, John. So you know what? This is a business. It's an industry that I totally love, but I said it's almost like a mission. You know, I feel like I'm a missionary out here going to change the world because that's what our industry has allowed me to do. And I'm just grateful to be here. And I'm so grateful for you. And you know what, John, it's funny because every time I have a question, even though we don't work in the same business, the same company, I still reach out to you. And it's been since 1994, 95 that we developed a business and friendship relationship. And you know what? I will always. So don't ever go away because I always need you. Don't matter how long I'm in the company, how long I'm in the industry, the business. I always need my mentor, and that's been you. And I thank you.
Well, Karen, thank you so much. And one wonderful interview. Continued good health, most importantly. Good results with your business. Obviously, I know that's going to certainly continue for you. I know you've done an amazing job. And hey, look, you know that's all of our roles now, right? We learned this stuff from other people. We developed some of our own, and we've helped people, and that next generation, and then that next generation to teach that next generation, and so on and so forth. Because you're absolutely right. What are we really doing here? We're giving people the ability to stand on their own 2 feet and take care of themselves and their families and not be dependent on anyone else to do so. And that's something that is a blessing and a responsibility for people like us. So just Karen, in 10 words or less, I'm a new person. I'm just getting started. I've read Moving Up 2020. What do I do the next 48 hours to jumpstart my business?
You know, of course, mine would be, I would teach them how to do the 10 penny rule. I do. And sometime now with social media, it's not always a 10 penny, but sometimes I tell people, reach out to 10 people on social media privately. Send out 10, because that stuck in my head, because to me, that's what gave me the break of something so simple that I could literally change the world with a simple daily method of operation that has proven over and over and over again. So what would I say? I get chatter Kathy. I get really excited about when I see people come on board. But I always do, John. I always teach people the simplicity of this business, to follow other people who have had success, just like you, just like what's in this book. Now I have this as a tool to be able to share and say, you know what, take a couple hours of a day and just go through this book. You can learn the simple basics, the simple techniques, the daily method of operation, and how these people use something that you can read all in this book and find amazing nuggets that will take your business to the level that you only dreamed that it would be before. So I love this book. I'm just grateful that I'm honored to get to be in it. And, you know, as I say many, many times, we can make excuses or we can make money, but we can't make both. And this gives us the opportunity to be all that we can be, to learn from the best and implement it and change people's lives.